Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you've chosen to join me today. What I'm about to share with you is a story that may seem far beyond what you would consider normal. Yet it's a reality that many are unaware of, even as it unfolds in the shadows of our world. It's a story that touches on the unseen battles we fight every day, battles not of the physical but of the spiritual realm. We often think of witchcraft and dark magic as things of the past, relics of folklore and superstition. However, I'm here to tell you that witchcraft is alive and well in today's world. It's not just the kind you read about in books or see in movies, but real, calculated, and sometimes terrifying operations that involve powerful rituals aimed at causing harm. And what's even more chilling, these rituals are happening right now, targeted at people like you and me. Ordinary people with no clue that dark forces are trying to pull them into their grip. Now you might be wondering, why would anyone want to harm me or anyone else with witchcraft? Well, that's the first question we need to answer. You see, most people assume that someone would need to be a villain or a sworn enemy to want to do something as drastic as using dark magic to destroy another person's life. But the truth is, sometimes the people who want to cause you harm aren't enemies at all. They could be someone you've trusted, someone you think is a friend, or even someone who seems completely harmless in your day-to-day life. This is where our story begins, an innocent photo that someone took of you. A moment captured in time where you were simply living your life. Perhaps smiling, perhaps at peace, unaware that this moment would soon be used for something far darker than you could ever imagine. What if I told you that a single photograph of you could be the key to unleashing a powerful and destructive curse? Now, before you dismiss this as nonsense, allow me to walk you through the series of events that followed. Picture this. You're just going about your business, living your life as usual, when unbeknownst to you, someone is secretly stalking you online. They've studied your every move, downloaded every image you've posted, paying close attention to the moments when your energy was at its highest. That time you posted a picture, smiling, radiating happiness, your energy shining through. This is the image that catches their attention. Why? Because this is the image they need, the one that will act as a direct connection to you, your energy, and your very essence. But let's pause here for a moment. Why does this photo matter so much? You see, what most people don't realize is that photographs aren't just images on paper. They are energetic representations of who we are. Every picture we take holds a piece of our energy, our vibrational frequency, and in the right hands, that energy can be manipulated. In the hands of someone with malicious intent, that photo becomes a powerful tool, an access point into your soul. Imagine someone who holds so much hatred for you that they would go to the extent of spending weeks, maybe even months, scouring your social media profiles. They examine every image you upload, studying your expressions, your mood, and your energy. They're not looking for just any photo, they're looking for the perfect one. The photo that shows you at your most vibrant, your most authentic self. The photo where your light shines the brightest. Why? Because an attack against someone who is radiant and at peace will have a much greater impact. When you're up high, the fall is that much more brutal. This brings us to the next chapter of the story, the person who decides that your downfall is not only possible, but necessary. They found that photo, the one they need to destroy you. They gather the resources, find a professional witch, and set the wheels in motion. What follows is a series of rituals so dark, so intense, that the consequences ripple across time and space in ways that no one could have predicted. But here's the twist. What the person doesn't know is that they've chosen the wrong target. They've chosen you, not realizing that you aren't just any person. You aren't someone who can be destroyed by a curse or a spell. And as they prepare to unleash the full force of their hatred against you, something unexpected happens. The spell they cast doesn't just fail, it backfires. And when it does, it comes back with a force so powerful that it alters the course of everything. The curse isn't destroying you, it's destroying them. In the next part of this story, you'll learn exactly how this curse was set in motion, the rituals that were performed, and most importantly, why the curse failed. You'll see how your divine protection system, something you may not even realize you have, was working tirelessly to keep you safe. And as the spell ricocheted back toward its source, you'll learn the shocking consequences that followed for the person who thought they could break you. But before we continue, I want you to take a moment and think about this. Have you ever felt that strange sensation of being watched, or experienced an inexplicable exhaustion that seemed to drain your energy no matter how much sleep you got? Perhaps you've had dreams that felt real with people you know looking at you with hatred. Maybe you've sensed a presence, an invisible force surrounding you, making you feel uneasy. If any of this sounds familiar, you may have been under a spiritual attack without even realizing it. And I'm here to tell you that you were not only protected, but your protection system worked so efficiently that you didn't even have to lift a finger. So I invite you to stay with me. Join me as we unravel the mystery of how one person's attempt to destroy another's life led to a series of events that will change everything you think you know about spiritual protection, witchcraft, and the hidden forces that guide us all. You're about to learn the truth about the invisible battles that are being fought around you, and how in the end you are stronger than you ever knew. Get ready. This story is about to take you on a journey through the unseen world, one that may make you question everything you thought you knew about the forces shaping your life. It's a story of light and darkness, of a battle between good and evil, where the true nature of protection and the strength of the human spirit shine through in ways that will leave you in awe. Welcome to the world of spiritual warfare, where the battle isn't fought with swords or guns, but with energy and tension and the very essence of who we are. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because what's coming next will completely change the way you see the world around you. So sit back, relax, and let me take you deeper into this story of witchcraft protection and the ultimate triumph of divine justice. The story you're about to hear is one that begins in the hidden corners of our everyday lives. It starts not with grand gestures or visible signs of aggression, but with something seemingly innocent, a photo. A simple, unassuming image of a person in a moment of joy, captured at the peak of their vibrational energy, all unbeknownst to them. And yet, for someone with the right kind of obsession, this photograph can become more powerful than any weapon in their arsenal. Let's pause here for a moment. Why would anyone go to such lengths to target someone using a photo? And why does this photo matter so much to the witchcraft that follows? The truth is that a photo isn't just an image, it's an energetic imprint. Every time you take a photo, you are not just capturing your physical appearance, you are revealing a piece of your soul, your energy. In that brief instant when the camera clicks, you release an energetic signature into the world. The person holding that photo, the one who studies it carefully, is accessing that very energy. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful. A skilled witch understands this, and when they receive a photo of you, they are not simply looking at a picture. They are holding a direct link to you, your energy, your soul, and in some cases, your very essence. It's an access point that can be used to manipulate, curse, and ultimately control. But to harness this power, the witch must be meticulous. They cannot just take any photo. They need a specific one, a photo where your vibrational frequency is high, where your light shines through your eyes, where you are most authentic. The person who targeted you knew this, and they spent countless hours analyzing every image you shared, scrutinizing each one with pathological intensity. They didn't just look for a photo of you. No, they were searching for something more. They were looking for a moment when you were genuinely happy, at peace, when your energy was at its highest frequency. Perhaps it was that photo of you smiling at a wedding, or the one you posted after a particularly beautiful day when the joy of the moment shone through your entire being. They needed that specific energy, the one that radiated light, that warmth, that undeniable authenticity. You see, someone who would go to such lengths to hurt you wasn't interested in your vulnerability or your weakness. They didn't care for the tired, worn-out version of you that sometimes shows up after a long day. No, they wanted you at your best. They wanted the real you, the one who shines bright in the world. Because to bring someone down from a place of light is far more devastating than bringing down someone who is already low. The contrast is sharper, the destruction more complete. Now let's move to the next part of the story. The person behind this obsessive hatred. You may have a picture in your mind of who this person is. Maybe an ex-lover, a former friend, or a business competitor. Someone who made their feelings about you clear, someone who is obviously an enemy. But what if I told you that the person who orchestrated this spiritual attack wasn't an enemy at all? In fact, they may have even been someone who smiled at you, congratulated you on your achievements, and outwardly seemed like a friend. This is where things take a more unsettling turn. The person who went to such extreme lengths to harm you wasn't an obvious enemy. It wasn't someone you knew hated you or resented you. No, this person was someone you trusted. Someone who appeared to be a friend, perhaps even a close one. This is often the hardest part to grasp because we don't expect betrayal from those who seem harmless, or even those who seem to be rooting for us. This person was likely a master of disguise, hiding their true feelings behind a mask of kindness and concern. They knew you well enough to study your life and your vulnerabilities. They knew what made you happy, what made you sad, and what your dreams and aspirations were. They took careful notes of your life, perhaps without you even realizing it. They were in a sense a shadow in your life, lurking behind the scenes, gathering every scrap of information about you, all while pretending to be supportive, even loving. They were patient, methodical, and cunning. They knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't an impulsive act. This wasn't the result of a fleeting emotion like jealousy or anger. No, this was a calculated, premeditated attack. They spent months, perhaps even years, perfecting their strategy. They observed your every move, analyzed your every post, and downloaded your images with meticulous care. They weren't just collecting photos, they were looking for the perfect one, the one where your essence was most vibrant, where your light was most visible. Once they found it, everything changed. This wasn't just a random photo saved to their phone. No, they treated this photo like a sacred object, something of immense power. They didn't just store it on their device, they printed it out on high-quality photographic paper. They didn't use a cheap printer. They went to a professional printing shop, paid for the best quality, and ensured that the photo was preserved perfectly. This was not a casual act. It was a deliberate investment. They treated this photo like a weapon, and in many ways it was. But now they needed the right person to wield this weapon. They didn't want to trust just anyone with their dark plan. So they searched for someone who could help them. They didn't go to an amateur, they sought out the most experienced witch they could find, someone with a reputation for powerful, even dangerous work. This wasn't a light-hearted request. No, they were seeking someone who could guarantee results, someone who had the skill and knowledge to execute a powerful curse that would destroy you completely. When they found the witch, they wasted no time. They scheduled a consultation, brought the photo, and paid a price that most people would find shocking. They paid the equivalent of 3 months' salary to ensure that the curse would work. 3 months of hard-earned money spent solely on the purpose of destroying someone else's life. Think about that for a moment. 3 months of work, 3 months of sacrifice, all for the purpose of causing someone else to fall. It wasn't just an attack. It was an obsession, a desire to break you at the deepest level. The witch didn't ask questions. Experienced witches don't waste time with doubts or concerns. They are spiritual professionals, and when someone pays the right price, they do the work. No judgment, no emotional involvement, just the task at hand. The witch took your photo, studied it for a moment, and without hesitation began the process. This was a job like any other, except for one crucial detail. The witch felt something strange when they looked at the photo. For a split second, there was hesitation, a flicker of uncertainty, as if they sensed something they hadn't anticipated. It wasn't the usual energy they encountered when performing such rituals. It was something different, something protective. But the witch didn't dwell on it. The money was on the table, and the ritual needed to begin. She placed the photo carefully on the altar, preparing the space with candles, herbs, and various ritual tools. There was no turning back now. The witch didn't need to ask if the attacker was sure about their decision. The answer was clear. This was not a momentary burst of anger. This was the result of years of hatred and resentment. The attacker had already made up their mind, and they wanted your life destroyed no matter the cost. And so, the ritual began. But what the witch didn't know, and what the attacker failed to understand, is that they were dealing with something much more powerful than they realized. They were attempting to destroy someone who was far more protected than they could have ever imagined. The air was thick with tension, as the witch, without a second thought, began the ritual to destroy you. The professional precision with which she carried out each step was chilling. Every movement, every word she spoke was intentional, designed to open a path between the physical world and the unseen dimensions. This was not just a simple curse. This was a carefully crafted spiritual assault, planned and executed with the utmost care. The attacker, who had spent months researching you, knew exactly what they wanted to achieve. They didn't just want a minor setback in your life. They wanted to see you utterly destroyed, your career, ruined your health, deteriorating your relationships, falling apart. They wanted you to lose everything that made you feel alive and whole, everything that gave you peace. Their intention was clear: to erase the light from your life and replace it with darkness and suffering. But what they didn't realize was that they had chosen the wrong target. As the witch began to perform the ritual, her hands moved with precision. Each action was deliberate. She placed your photo on the altar, surrounded it with black candles, and began her incantations. The witch, an experienced practitioner of dark magic, had performed similar rituals countless times. But as she studied the photo, something began to stir in the air, a presence that made her hesitate for just a moment. It wasn't the kind of hesitation born of uncertainty in her own power. No, she had no doubt in her ability to carry out the task. It was something else entirely. For a split second, she felt a strange, almost unexplainable resistance. The energy around the photo was not what she expected. It wasn't the typical emptiness or vulnerability that comes with the people she usually curses. No, this felt different. It felt like she was trying to attack a force that was beyond her comprehension. Still, she pushed aside the fleeting feeling of unease and continued with the ritual. She began with the first step, sticking pins into the image one by one, targeting key aspects of your life. Each pin was meant to symbolize a different form of destruction. The first went into your forehead, symbolizing mental confusion. The second into your heart, aiming for emotional suffering, betrayals, loneliness, and isolation. The third and fourth pins went into your hands, intended to cause financial ruin and a lack of success in all your endeavors. The fifth and sixth went into your feet, aiming for paralysis, preventing you from moving forward in any aspect of life. Finally, the seventh pin went directly into where your name appeared on the photo, representing a direct attack on your essence, your identity. As she worked, the witch's concentration deepened. The atmosphere in the room grew heavier with each incantation. The air grew dense with the smoke of burning herbs, the stench of darkness filling the room. The witch's eyes, once sharp with determination, seemed to grow dull as the energy around the ritual intensified. She muttered words in languages unknown to most ancient invocations meant to break down your spiritual defenses and open a gateway for the curse to take hold. But with every word spoken, that unsettling feeling grew stronger. The energy in the room was thick like a storm that refused to be tamed. Despite the discomfort creeping through her, the witch continued. She added more elements to the ritual, specific herbs, liquids, and offerings meant to amplify the power of the curse. Each night, for 6 days, the ritual was repeated, intensifying with every passing hour. As the 7th night approached, the witch had already laid the groundwork for a devastating spiritual attack. She had done everything in her power to ensure that the curse would succeed. But what she didn't understand, what neither she nor the attacker could foresee, was the presence of something far more powerful than any dark force they could conjure. You see, while the witch worked tirelessly preparing every spell, every incantation with deadly precision, something invisible was already at work in the background, something that neither of them could have predicted. Your divine protection system. It was never passive. It was never a simple shield. It was an active, intelligent, and conscious force designed to protect you at all costs, even when you were unaware of the battle being fought on your behalf. When the first pins were stuck into the photo, the first invocation was spoken, your protection system immediately detected the attack. It wasn't just a simple block, it was a direct interception. The spiritual energy within you immediately recognized the malicious intent and began working to neutralize the curse. But here's the key: your protection system didn't just shield you from the attack, it went on the offensive. Your divine protection wasn't just a passive defense mechanism, it was a counterattack in the making. As the witch's ritual grew stronger, so did your protection's response. Every spell that was cast, every word that was spoken to hurt you, was met with a response so powerful, so precise, that the energy of the curse was actually mapped back to its source. The attack wasn't just deflected, it was analyzed, traced, and amplified. In the process, the witch's ritual started to lose its power. What should have been an invisible, unnoticed defense turned into something far more dynamic. The curse didn't just fail, it backfired. The energy of the attack didn't dissipate harmlessly into the ether. Instead, it returned with force amplified by the divine protection surrounding you. The witch may not have noticed it at first, but with each passing night, the pressure in the room grew heavier, and the atmosphere began to shift. On the 7th night, when the witch launched the final, most intense part of the ritual, the spell was met with the full force of your protection. It wasn't just blocked, it was deflected. The energy of the curse was sent flying back like a bullet ricocheting off a titanium shield. The witch didn't know what hit her. As the spell traveled through dimensions to reach you, something unprecedented happened. Instead of reaching its target, the intended victim, it collided with your divine defense system. The energy didn't just bounce back softly, it was thrown back with catastrophic force. In that split second, the witch felt a sharp pain in her chest, a sudden constriction in her breath. Her eyes widened in shock as the realization hit her. The spell had failed, and worse yet, it was now returning with amplified force. The backlash was brutal. It wasn't just an ordinary failure. The spell disintegrated in mid-flight, unraveling with such intensity that the witch was physically shaken by the impact. Her body trembled, and for the first time in years, she was afraid. Her confidence in her own powers wavered as the energy from the failed spell ricocheted back toward her with a force she had never encountered before. It was not just a spiritual failure, it was a physical one. Her body reacted to the powerful return of the curse, and she felt the energy drain from her as if she were being consumed by it. Panic set in. She rushed to light white candles in an attempt to neutralize the backlash, but it was too late. The energy of the failed spell had already done its damage. The protection surrounding you had already worked its magic, leaving the witch and the attacker in a state of chaos and despair. The witch, now visibly shaken, tried to recover, but she could feel the weight of the failure bearing down on her. The attack was meant to destroy you, but in the end it had destroyed the attacker instead. And the repercussions were far more severe than anyone could have imagined. As the witch frantically attempted to undo the damage, the attacker, oblivious to what had transpired, continued to believe that their efforts were simply taking longer to manifest. But the universe had other plans. The spell's failure and its return were not just coincidences, they were the result of the intense divine protection surrounding you. The attacker's world would soon unravel. What they didn't know was that they had invited not just spiritual destruction into their life, but a very real collapse of everything they held dear. What began as an obsession with destroying you would soon become their own downfall. They had no idea that the very protection they sought to destroy was now coming after them, and in the most devastating way possible. As the days passed, the consequences of the failed spell became painfully evident to the attacker. They had spent months planning, obsessing over every detail, believing they could break you. But instead, they had unleashed something far more dangerous, a force that was beyond their understanding. They had mistakenly underestimated the power of your divine protection. In the aftermath of the witch's failure, something profound had shifted. The attacker, in their desperation, had sought out another witch, someone they believed would be stronger, someone who could finish the job that the first witch had failed to complete. They were blinded by their obsession, driven by an all-consuming hatred that had clouded their judgment. They couldn't see what was clear to anyone with eyes to see. They were fighting a battle they could never win. They had chosen to attack someone who was protected by something much greater than any curse or dark magic. But the consequences of their decision were only just beginning to unfold. The second witch, drawn into the situation by the attacker's increasing desperation, took the photograph once again. This time the stakes were higher. The price was greater, and the magic was darker. The second witch invoked even more powerful, more dangerous forces, entities that were known for their ruthlessness and malevolence. They used spells and incantations that were designed to pierce even the most formidable spiritual protections. And yet, despite all their effort, the result was no different than before. The magic failed. In fact, it failed so spectacularly that it left the second witch severely impacted. The backlash from the failed spell was intense, and within hours the witch experienced an almost fatal heart attack. While they survived, they were left shaken to their core, no longer able to continue their dark work. The forces they had summoned were too much to handle, and they abandoned their practice entirely. The second witch, one of the most powerful practitioners of dark magic in the region, was rendered terrified by the sheer power of the protection that surrounded you. And it wasn't just any kind of protection. It was a divine force, one that could not be countered or bypassed no matter how strong the attack. But still, the attacker was not deterred. They were consumed by rage, unwilling to accept defeat. They refused to believe that something as simple as divine protection could thwart their plans. And so they pressed on. The attacker had already invested so much both in time and money that they were willing to go to any length to see their curse come to fruition. But with each failed attempt, they were only digging themselves further into a hole they couldn't escape. The universe, however, had already intervened. The divine protection surrounding you wasn't just a shield that blocked the attacks. It was an intelligent system, one that actively countered every move the attacker made. The moment they chose to attack, the universe responded, and with each failed spell, the attacker's life began to unravel. What they failed to understand was that by trying to destroy you, they were not only fighting a battle they couldn't win, they were inviting destruction into their own life. As the weeks went by, the signs of this spiritual warfare began to show in the attacker's physical world. The attacker, who had once been full of life, now found themselves in a constant state of decline. Their health deteriorated. They felt weaker each day, as if their life force was being drained bit by bit. Their once thriving business began to fall apart. Relationships they had once counted on started to crumble. Even their social circle, which had once been full of people eager to be in their presence, began to pull away, sensing that something was terribly wrong. The attacker had brought this upon themselves. What they had failed to understand in their obsession with destroying you was that they had unleashed a force they could not control, a force that wasn't just the result of your divine protection, but one that had cosmic consequences. They had crossed a line, and the universe was responding in the only way it knew how. There was no mercy for someone who would go to such extreme lengths to harm another, and the consequences were swift and brutal. Their physical decline was a direct reflection of the spiritual attack they had unleashed. The negative energy they had sent out into the universe in an attempt to destroy you was now coming back to them multiplied. The divine protection surrounding you was not merely a passive force, it was an active one. It didn't just shield you from harm, it neutralized the attack, redirected it, and sent it back to its source with such force that it left the attacker vulnerable to its own destructive power. And then it happened. Weeks after the second witch's failed spell, the attacker began to experience strange, unexplainable symptoms. At first, it was just a headache, something they could ignore. But as the days passed, the symptoms grew worse. They felt nauseous all the time, unable to shake the feeling that something was wrong. Their body, once strong and resilient, now seemed to be failing them. The doctors couldn't explain it. The tests came back clean. There were no signs of disease, no clear cause for their sudden decline. But the signs were there just beneath the surface. Their body was literally being drained of life force. And as the days passed, it became clear that the attacker wasn't just sick. They were dying. The energy they had sent out with the intent to destroy you had come back with such force that it had begun to consume them from the inside out. Eventually, the attacker found themselves in the hospital fighting for their life. They were surrounded by doctors, but they could offer no explanation for the symptoms that had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Within weeks, the attacker's body began to shut down. Their organs began to fail one by one in a way that could not be explained by modern medicine. The doctors were baffled. There was no medical history, no risk factors. It was as if their body was rejecting them. 2 weeks later, the attacker was in critical condition, their body unable to withstand the onslaught of energy that had returned to them. The once proud and powerful person who had tried to destroy you was now lying helpless, unable to do anything to save themselves. The spiritual backlash had been too much for them to bear, and within 3 weeks they passed away. The official cause of death: multiple organ failure of unknown origin. It wasn't a disease that took them. It wasn't a curse that manifested in some obvious dramatic way. It was the consequence of their own actions. They had tried to destroy you with dark magic, but in the end, they had only destroyed themselves. And you, the one they sought to harm, remained untouched. You may never know the full extent of what happened behind the scenes. You may never fully understand the invisible battles that were fought on your behalf. But your soul knows, your spirit knows. You are protected by something greater than you can imagine, something so powerful that it operates beyond human comprehension. Your divine protection system, activated long before you were even born, was always in place to ensure that you could fulfill your mission on Earth. It wasn't just a shield. It was a counterattack, a force that worked tirelessly to neutralize every attempt to bring you down. The strength of your protection is not something that can be seen with the naked eye, but it is real and it is powerful. It is a force that stands with you no matter the darkness that may come your way. And now, as the story comes to a close, you can look back and understand why your life has been difficult at times, but never impossible. Why you've faced challenges that seemed insurmountable only to emerge stronger each time. It wasn't luck. It was your divine protection. It was your purpose, your higher mission that kept you safe. The attacker, in their desperation to destroy you, only confirmed what the universe already knew. You cannot be touched. You cannot be brought down. You cannot be annihilated, because you are not just human. You are a celestial being incarnated on this earth with a purpose far greater than you can comprehend. And when you are attacked, it's not just you that they are facing. It's the entire divine protection system that stands with you, guiding you and ensuring your success. So the next time you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, or when you sense an unseen force trying to break you, remember this story. Remember that you are never alone. You are always protected. You are always supported by the cosmic forces that exist far beyond this physical realm. As I say goodbye for now, know that this is not the end of your journey. It is simply another chapter in the ongoing story of your life. You are a celestial warrior, and the light that you carry is unbreakable. No matter what forces try to destroy you, they will never succeed. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you continue to walk in the light, knowing that no darkness can ever touch you. Goodbye for now, and may your protection always guide you.